began with fire, the kind that doesn't simply burn, but purifies. Cities that once glittered with the arrogance of freedom found their skies split open by a sound older than thunder. From the void descended a single drop pod, its hull carved with the scars of 10,000 wars, its surface bearing the mark of the imperial Aquila. When it struck the ground, the earth itself bowed. What emerged from its smoking heart was not a man, but a memory of a civilization that had long since devoured its gods and turned their bones into weapons. A warrior in ceramite, 8 feet tall and armored in the color of sanctified blood, his every motion heavy with the gravity of purpose. His vox grill hissed like an iron lung as he looked upon this strange new world, a world without the emperor, without faith, without the cold discipline of the Imperium. He saw humans playing at gods, clad in capes instead of armor, wielding power without prayer. He saw them fighting monsters born of science and myth alike, and he did not marvel, he judged. The Space Marine had come not to conquer, but to correct. For to him, this world was not miraculous. It was heresy. If the Emperor willed it, none would stand. And in this universe of heroes and titans, a single Astartes would remind creation what true war meant, before we descend into the fire. Brother, lend your strength to the chapter. Like, share, and subscribe, so that the light of the Emperor may burn brighter in this digital age. The story that follows is not myth, nor prophecy. It is the echo of what happens when the Imperium of man crosses universes that mistake power for purpose. The first sound was thunder, not the kind born from storms, but from the violence of something vast and ancient breaking through the skin of reality. The clouds above Manhattan split open, bleeding fire and metal, and through that wound fell a cylinder the size of a tank shell, its surface wreathed in plasma and smoke. When it struck the ground, the city shuddered. Glass rained from skyscrapers, alarms screamed, and the air tasted of ozone and scorched iron. The impact crater smoldered in the center of Times Square. People gathered at its edges, phones raised, their voices a mix of awe and terror. Then the pod split open. Hydraulic locks hissed. Steam poured from vents carved with the twin-headed Aquila. A figure rose from within, towering, immense and armored giant in cobalt ceramite, etched with purity seals and sigils of war. His presence devoured sound. Every step he took cracked pavement. Every breath from his vox grill rolled like thunder. Brother Captain, Varian of the Ultramarines, had arrived. His mind was a weapon honed by centuries of obedience. The Emperor's voice was not in his ear, but in his marrow. Yet, as his autosensors adjusted and his helmet lenses scanned this alien city, confusion bled into his precision. There were no servitors, no banners of the Imperium, no static hymns of the machine god. Instead, there were screens, hundreds of them, flashing faces and colors without discipline. Humanity, alive but unruled. His gauntlet flexed involuntarily, the armor servos whining. Pedestrians scattered as his shadow fell across them. One man raised a trembling hand, voice cracking. "Are you Iron Man?" Varian turned. "You mistake me for a sorcerer in tin." His voice boomed, amplified, carrying the cadence of a cathedral sermon. "I am Adeptus Astartes, guardian of the species you profane." The words meant nothing to them, but their tone did. Fear rippled outward like concentric waves. Sirens wailed. Law enforcement vehicles screeched onto the scene, lights blazing. The soldiers inside shouted warnings through speakers. "Step away from the crater. Hands where we can see them." Varian didn't move. He was cataloging their weapons, armor, coordinational, woefully primitive. These were not Imperial Guardsmen. These were children with toys. These are mankind's defenders. He murmured through the vox. Untrained, unblessed. The officers opened fire. The first bullets struck his armor and disintegrated. Their kinetic energy absorbed by the ceramite plating. Sparks danced harmlessly across his pauldrons. Varian didn't even flinch. He turned toward the nearest police vehicle and raised his Bolterand instrument of holy precision forged in the vaults of Mars with a single shot. The vehicle ceased to exist. The explosion rolled through the street like a declaration. Panic erupted. Civilians fled, screaming. Smoke rose. Above the chaos, the giant stood unyielding, scanning the skyline. His auspex pinged unknown energy signatures approaching fast. He looked up, and in the burning clouds, he saw them. Streaks of light cutting through the smog. Moving with purpose, they were not aircraft. The first to arrive was clad in red and gold. The suit gleamed, thrusters roaring as the figure descended. "Hey," Tony Stark's voice cracked through the comms. "Big guy, you just blew up half of Times Square. Wanna tell me who you're cosplaying as before I—" The Marine turned, his eyes glowing faintly behind his lenses. "You wear armor as ornament," he said, his voice cutting through static. "I wear mine as faith." Tony's sensors spiked energy readings off the charts. Mechanical systems confused by the alien power source within the Astartes suit. "Yeah, I'm getting real bad first contact vibes here," he muttered. Varian raised his bolter again. "You speak too freely for one who should kneel." Above them, thunder cracked again, this time real thunder, and a voice boomed across the heavens. "Enough." Lightning speared down as Thor, son of Odin, landed between them. Mjolnir humming with STOR-MLIGHT. He looked from Iron Man to the Marine, brow furrowed. "This realm needs no more gods of war." "Varians," Voxgrill hissed as he took a step forward, armor groaning. "Then this realm will learn what one truly is." The storm gathered around them, lightning coiling across the skyline like serpents made of light. The Space Marine's silhouette gleamed against the molten sky, each strike of thunder reflecting along the edges of his pauldrons. To the crowds below, it was no longer a battle between men, it was myth made flesh. Iron Man hovered at Thor's flank, armor, diagnostics, screaming warnings, while the god of thunder leveled his hammer with grim reverence. "Speak your name." "Warrior," Thor demanded, voice rolling like distant thunder. "You stand in a realm not your own. Lay down your weapon, and no harm will follow." Varian regarded him with the detached calm of one long past fear. "I am Brother Captain Varian, 7th Company, Ultramarines Chapter, servant of the Emperor of Mankind. I will not kneel to false idols draped in storm and vanity." Lightning flared. Thor's jaw tightened. "You dare, I dare because I must," Varian interrupted. "I have seen gods born and gods slain. You are neither." The words hit harder than any weapon. Thor's hammer twitched in his grip. Iron Man's repulsors hummed with restrained energy. "All right," Tony said, the edge of sarcasm breaking beneath strain. "Diplomacy is dead. We doing this the hard way?" The Space Marine's bolter rose in answer. The first blast roared like artillery, detonating mid-air where Tony had been a fraction of a second before. Shrapnel rained across the street as Thor charged, lightning crackling along his arms. Mjolnir met Varian's chainsword with a screech of metal and energy, sparks bursting as both titans locked in a storm of will and fury. Each blow from Thor could shatter tanks. Each strike from Varian could carve through ceramite like parchment. Buildings shook. Windows imploded. The Marines' movements were precise, disciplined, each parry a sermon of control, each strike an echo of divine rage. Thor fought like a tempest unleashed, every swing guided by instinct and heart. To the watching world, it was chaos incarnate. To the Marine, it was art. Iron Man rejoined the fight, unleashing a barrage of missiles that curved through the smoke. They detonated against Varian's armor, wrapping him in fire. For a moment, the golden figure vanished in the inferno. Then he stepped out of it, unharmed, cape scorched but eyes unblinking. You wield technology without understanding. Your weapons lack faith, he said, his voice low but carrying through the din. Faith binds steel. Faith gives aim. Faith kills. Tony cursed under his breath. Faith's not exactly in the instruction manual. Before he could react, Varian hurled a fragmentation grenade with terrifying precision. The blast sent Iron Man spiraling, alarms shrieking inside the helmet as systems crashed. Thor lunged again, hammer connecting with Varian's helm and sending a shockwave across the street. The Marine staggered but did not fall. Instead, he grabbed Mjolnir's handle mid-swing and held it. Thor froze. No mortal could even touch the hammer yet this armored giant held it as if it were a common blade. The runes dimmed for a heartbeat, flickering in confusion. Varian's grip tightened. Your weapon judges worth. Then it is wiser than its master. With a violent twist, he released it, sending the hammer spinning skyward. The blow knocked Thor to his knees, the god's breath escaping in a strangled gasp. The Marine turned away, scanning the battlefield. Police lines had fallen silent. Civilians were long gone. The world was watching through cameras, through drones, through fear, through the rising dust. A portal of shifting orange light tore open behind him. The voice that came through was weary but commanding. Enough. Doctor Strange stepped out, cloak of levitation trailing behind him like living silk. His eyes took in the ruin, the shattered buildings, the god kneeling beside the armored warrior. You are far from home, whoever you are. End this before the world decides you are its enemy. Varian faced him, his expression unreadable behind the glowing lenses. This world made itself my enemy the moment it forgot discipline. Stranger's fingers twitched as he began to weave a spell. Then allow me to remind you what happens when arrogance meets reality. For the first time since his arrival, Varian smiled a thin, grim curve of iron beneath his vox grill. Reality bends to will, sorcerer, and my will has been tempered by 1,000 wars. The ground split, energy screamed, and above them all, the Astronomican's faint ghost flickered through the clouds, a beacon lost, calling to a god that could not hear. The street convulsed beneath them as the Marine's fury met Stranger's will. The air itself became a battlefield, light warping, gravity shifting, the laws of the universe twisting in protest. Stranger's sigils spun into existence, circles of searing geometry that bled power into the air. Chains of scarlet energy lashed outward, wrapping around Varian's limbs and chest. For a moment, the city held its breath. The Marine stood still, trapped within the sorcerer's binding. Then his armor began to hum, the runes on its surface flickering like dying embers reignited. The chains shuddered, then cracked. One by one, they snapped like glass under the pressure of his strength. Strange gritted his teeth, sweat forming along his brow. He could feel the impossible weight of the Astartes' presence pressing against him well-made weapon. "Whatever you are," Strange said through clenched teeth, "you don't belong here." Varian's voice rolled like distant thunder. "Belonging is irrelevant. Duty is eternal." He lunged forward, a blur of blue and gold. Strange raised a barrier, the runes flaring white as Varian's armored fist struck. The impact shattered the shield like porcelain. The force sent the Sorcerer Supreme flying backward, crashing through the facade of a building. Debris rained down as the Marine advanced, bolter raised, each step an earthquake, before he could fire. Lightning tore through the haze. Thor had risen again, fury in his eyes. He struck Varian square in the chest, hurling him back through the crater he had created. "You speak of duty," Thor roared, "but bring only death." Varian rose from the rubble, smoke curling around his form like incense. "Death is mercy to the faithless," he said, "and this world reeks of it." The god charged again, hammer drawn back. But before the two could clash, a beam of blinding light seared between them. It wasn't lightning, nor plasma, it was raw energy, structured, disciplined. From the sky descended another figure, Vision, hovering on thrusters of soft white glow, his voice calm but sharp. "Enough. This conflict threatens the planet. Stand down." Varian's head turned slightly, the crimson eyes within his helm narrowing. "You are not flesh. I am more than flesh," Vision replied. "I am thought made form, created to preserve peace." Varian regarded him for a moment. "Then you are an abomination and a miracle, both born of hubris." Vision didn't flinch. "Perhaps, but I will not allow you to destroy what we have built." There was something almost reverent in the pause that followed. For the first time, the Astartes saw something he recognized. Not divinity, not weakness, but purpose. "You defend your kind," Varian said slowly. "Then perhaps you are not beyond redemption." Vision extended a hand, cautious. "Then stop this. Talk to us. Help us understand what you want." The Marine's gaze drifted upward to the sky clouds torn open, smoke spiraling toward the heavens. "What I want," he said, "is for mankind to remember what it means to suffer for something greater than comfort. You have God's power and peace, but no faith." His words hung heavy in the air. Even Thor paused, uncertain. Strange, bruised but standing, glanced toward Iron Man, who was still struggling to repair his suit. "He's not wrong," Strange muttered. Tony's reply was a hoarse whisper. "Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's right." Before anyone could speak again, a deep rumble rolled through the sky, not thunder, not machinery, but something alive. Varian's helmet turned sharply. His sensors flared with energy readings unlike any in his databanks. A tier opened above them, black and endless, like the surface of an ocean seen from beneath. From it emerged shapes that defied comprehension, twisting silhouettes wreathed in dark light. Varian's heart froze. His vox crackled with static that shouldn't have existed in this world. The air grew cold, wrong, hungry. "The warp," he whispered. Strange turned toward him. "What?" But Varian was already moving, sprinting toward the portal, bolter raised, voice roaring across the ruins. "Get back." The heroes reacted too slowly. The first of the shapes tore freer, shrieking mass of claws and teeth, demonic and impossible. It struck the street, leaving scars that glowed with corruption. Varian fired. Each bolt round detonated like miniature suns, tearing the creature apart in bursts of divine fury. His movements were a hymn of precision, each shot an act of faith. By the Emperor's light, he shouted, "You will not take this world." The others joined him. Thor's hammer cleaved through the dark mass. Iron Man unleashed everything his failing suit could muster. Strange carved sigils in the air that glowed with desperate brilliance. Together, for the first time, they fought as one. But Varian knew what they did not. Where there was one demon, there would be countless more. The rift pulsed, widening, its edge humming with the song of madness. He steadied his weapon, his voice a growl of devotion and defiance. "This planet is under my protection," he said to the storm, "and the warp will not have it." And with that vow, he stepped forward into the dark. The darkness was endless. Every step Brother Captain Varian took inside the rift felt like marching through liquid shadow, thick with whispers that had no mouths. He recognized the voices' echoes of the warp, the same chaotic currents that devoured entire civilizations in his own galaxy. Yet this was different. It was thinner, fractured, as though reality itself resisted their dominion. Whatever these creatures were, they were newborns compared to the horrors he had known. He emerged from the other side of the tier, his armor dripping with black ichor that evaporated in the cold air. Around him, the world had changed. The city was gone. In its place stretched a wasteland of distorted metal and stone. Remnants of the dimensional wound still bleeding faint light. At the center hovered the remnants of the rift pulsing, unstable. Thor and Iron Man circled it cautiously, while Doctor Strange held it back with an enchantment that trembled like glass. "You returned," Strange said, his voice tight. "We thought you should have fled," Varian interrupted. "It's not over," the air screamed. A dozen rifts blossomed in the distance like blooming wounds. From each one poured forms of nightmare creatures that defied geometry, twisted reflections of sin and will. Varian's vox crackled with warnings from all spec systems trying to name what could not be named. "More of them," Tony muttered, charging his "Please tell me this isn't your doing." The Space Marine raised his bolter, reloading with practiced grace. "If these things follow me, it's because they fear what I am. They don't look afraid," Thor growled, swinging his hammer. "They will." The creatures descended. The battle that followed defied physics and reason alike. Each time one of the demons fell, it split into smoke and ash, only for two more to emerge from the rift's edge. Varian fought like a machine sculpted by faith, his bolter singing hymns of destruction, his chainsword roaring with holy fervor. Each movement was ritual, each strike a prayer. The heroes fought alongside him. Thor's lightning seared the heavens. Iron Man's ordnance turned the battlefield into fire, and Stranger's spells bent the flow of chaos just enough to hold the line. But even together, they were faltering. The demons adapted, feeding on emotion, on thought, on fear. For every wound they sustained, the warp twisted their pain into strength. Varian felt it closing in around him, through him. The same corruption that had claimed so many worlds clawed at the edges of his soul. But here, it was weaker, diluted by a universe that did not understand its hunger. He used that ignorance against it. He willed the faith of the Emperor through every atom of his being, his voice a weapon as sacred as any blade. "By his will," he roared, "I stand unbroken." The warp recoiled, its creatures shrieking in agony. Even Strange felt the vibration, the psychic resonance that was not magic, but something older belief made absolute. The demons faltered, their forms dissolving into smoke. Thor turned to him, eyes wide. What power is this? Faith, Varian said. A weapon your kind forgot. As the last creature screamed and vanished, the rifts began to collapse. The city shimmered back into view, cracked and wounded but real again. The sky cleared, sunlight cutting through the haze. The battle was over, but its echoes would not fade. Varian fell to one knee, his armor scorched, his breathing heavy through the vox. The Emperor's presence was distant here, faint as memory. He could feel the void between galaxies pressing in. He was cut off. Strange knelt beside him, exhausted. Whatever that was, you stopped it. But the energy signatures, those things, they were drawn to you. If they're connected to your world, they are, Varian said. They are the shadow of man's soul. And now they know this place exists. Thor frowned. Then what do we do? The Marine looked up at the sky blue, unscarred, fragile. You prepare. The galaxy has noticed you. And when the next breach comes, you will not survive it without faith. Tony approached slowly, his armor scorched and dented. Faith's not really our department, he said. We prefer physics and firepower. Varian's reply was soft but final. Then you will die by both. Before anyone could answer, a burst of light enveloped them. Stranger's runes flared, forming a ring of symbols around the Marine. I need to understand what you are, Strange said. You're a danger to this world until I do. Varian's visor gleamed. Understand this, sorcerer. I am not your enemy, but if you chain me, I will teach your world the meaning of wrath. The circle tightened. Light consumed everything. Light exploded around them. For an instant, Varian felt weightless, the world dissolving into streams of color and broken geometry. When the light faded, he was no longer standing in the ruins of New York. He was in a chamber carved from pure light and shadow, a space between worlds. Sigils glowed across the floor like constellations, and the air hummed with quiet authority. The sorcerer had transported them to the Sanctum Sanctorum's inner sanctum, the one place on Earth meant to contain the impossible. Dr. Strange stood across from him, exhausted but resolute, the cloak of levitation hovering close like a loyal animal. You're not a man, Strange said softly. You're a weapon. Varian's helm turned slightly. Every man of worth is a weapon. The difference lies in what he chooses to kill. Thor and Iron Man appeared beside Strange, drawn into the same pocket dimension. Tony's armor hissed as it adjusted to the pressure. His HUD flickered with arcane symbols his systems couldn't interpret. Okay, he said, voice sharp to hide the fear. Magic dungeon, great. You mind explaining why we're holding a medieval tank hostage instead of, thanking him for saving the planet? He didn't save it, Strange replied. He exposed it. Those creatures came for him. They'll come again. Varian stepped forward, the floor shaking under his weight. They came because your universe is soft. It has no resistance to the warp. I am the wound that reminded it what corruption smells like. You're the wound, Tony snapped, and you're proud of that. I am the scar, Varian said. Scars remind men that they can bleed. Thor's gaze softened, a flicker of respect beneath the suspicion. You speak as a soldier, yet your war is not ours. My war is humanity's, the Marine said. Yours. Mine. Every world that dares to call itself alive. The silence that followed was thick enough to crush air. Strange looked into his eyes, or rather, into the reflection of something vast and broken behind them. You're dying, he murmured. I can feel it. You're holding back something. Something that's killing you. Varian did not answer immediately. When he spoke, his voice was quieter, almost human. My body endures what my faith commands. But this world lacks the Emperor's light. I fight blind. Every breath here is rebellion. Then stop fighting, Strange said. Varian turned, his armor creaking. I cannot. War is my prayer. The sorcerer hesitated, then gestured. The sigils flared again, becoming chains of pure energy that anchored Varian to the floor. The marine's power crackled, trying to resist, but Strange's voice hardened. If you leave, if you fight again, you may tear this world apart. So you will stay, until I understand you. Thor stepped forward. Stephen, this is madness. No, Strange replied. This is protection. Varian's voice cut through the light. You seek to understand faith with science. That is like dissecting a flame to learn why it burns. The chains tightened. You'll forgive me if I don't take theology from a man who just invited hell to dinner, Strange said. For a moment, the Marine was silent. Then a deep, rhythmic hum filled the chamber, sound like chanting. His armor's systems shifted, glowing with blue sigils of their own. Strange frowned, realizing too late what was happening. Wait, the restraints shattered. The shockwave hurled Strange backward, the sanctum's wards flaring to life in self-defense. Varian stood at the center, radiating light so intense it left after images in the air. You cannot contain duty, he said, stepping forward. Thor raised his hammer, ready to strike. Tony aimed every weapon he had. Strange staggered to his feet, cloak rising to guard him. But before any of them could move, the Marine fell to one knee. The glow dimmed. His voice, when it came, was no longer command, it was confession. I am tired, he said. In my world, I have never rested. I have never prayed without a gun in my hand. I came here seeking the Emperor's light. Instead, I found humanity unchandanned for the first time. I wonder if that is what he wanted all along. Strange lowered his hands. Then stay. Learn. Varian's helm turned slightly toward him. Learning is for the living, sorcerer. I am already legend. Before they could respond, alarms shattered the air, magical and mechanical alike. Stark's armor blared warnings. Strange's wards screamed in panic. Thor felt it in his bones. Something vast was descending from the stars. Varian rose slowly, his exhaustion forgotten. You see, he said, voice steady. The galaxy answers even now. The Emperor tests us. The sky tore open again. And this time, what came through was not chaos. It was purpose. The air above the sanctum fractured like glass under a hammer. Strange's wards flared crimson, straining to hold the roof together as an object the size of a cathedral burned through the atmosphere. It was not a meteor. It was a vessel. Its descent was too precise, too controlled. The symbols carved into its hull were not of this world, imperial Gothic, jagged and reverent. Varian's heart seized. An imperial strike cruiser, he breathed. The throne still sees me. The others could barely comprehend what they were witnessing. Iron Man's scanners screamed warnings of radiation spikes. Thor shielded his eyes against the brilliance of its entry. Strange's voice was tight with disbelief. Another of your kind. The Marine's helm tilted skyward. No, they would not risk a rescue. This is judgment. The cruiser did not crash, it halted above the city, suspended on thrusters the color of dying suns. Its hull opened like the petals of a metallic flower, and through the storm of flame descended figures, 5 of them, armored like gods of war. The Adeptus Astartes, each landed with the weight of a meteor, golden armor gleaming even beneath the grey clouds. They carried guardian spears as tall as men, their movements synchronized, their presence suffocating. The civilians who had returned to watch fell to their knees without knowing why. Thor's hand tightened around Mjolnir. They feel like gods. Varian shook his head slowly. They are more than that. They are the Emperor's will-given flesh. They are perfection. The lead custodian stepped forward, his voice amplified through vox filters that sang like choirs. "Brother Captain, Varian of the Ultramarines," he declared. "By order of the High Lords of Terra, you are summoned to account for the sin of breach. You have crossed into forbidden reality and risked the purity of the Imperium's design." Varian's throat tightened. "I did not come here by choice. Intent is irrelevant. You have opened a path the great enemy could follow. You will be cleansed." Iron Man raised a hand. "Okay, hang on. You're talking about killing him." The custodian turned his helm toward Tony, the red lenses narrowing. "Silence, machine, idolater." Lightning cracked. Thor stepped forward, unafraid. "You bring threats into my realm, armored ones. Speak carefully, or I'll send you back to your Emperor in pieces." The custodians shifted, weapons lowering. "You are not known to the Imperium. Step aside, primitive god." Varian's hand rose, palm open. "Stop. They will not understand your mercy. They will only see tyranny. Then they will die blind," the custodian replied. In that instant, the storm broke. Thor's hammer flashed, Iron Man's repulsors ignited, Stranger's runes lit the air, and 5 custodians moved as one. Their speed defied reason, each motion guided by something beyond reflex. Bolts of auric fire rained down, colliding with repulsor beams and lightning arcs. The sanctum's defenses collapsed under the strain. Varian watched, torn between reverence and rage. These were his emperors chosen, the pinnacle of mankind. And yet, as he saw them strike down the heroes who had fought beside him, he realized the terrible truth. They had not come for him alone. They had come to erase this world. He roared, his voice echoing like a cathedral collapsing. "You will not harm them." The custodians froze. Their leader turned slowly. "You defend heretics. I defend mankind," Varian said. "In whatever form it survives. You blaspheme. Then let me die a blasphemer." He charged. The ground split beneath his boots. Chainsword met guardian spear in a clash that split the air. Sparks and flame burst in showers of gold and blue. Around them, gods and men clashed, Thor against custodian. Strange weaving spells that tore holes through reality. Tony firing every weapon he had left. It was war without sides, glory without honor. And at its center, Varian fought his brothers, his faith tearing in two with every blow. At last, he locked blades with the leader, the Golden Warrior's strength pressing down like the weight of terror itself. "You have forgotten mercy," Varian gasped. "There is no mercy," the custodian replied. "Only purity." Their weapons crossed one final time, sparks igniting between them like dying stars. "Then purity will burn," Varian said. He struck. The chainsword bit through auramite, through bone, through faith. The custodian fell. For a heartbeat, silence reigned. The surviving Golden Warriors stood frozen, their godlike composure faltering for the first time in memory. Then, as one, they lowered their weapons, not in surrender, but in acknowledgement. The leader's broken helm turned toward Varian. "You are no longer Ultramarine," he rasped. "You are exile." Varian bowed his head. "Then I am free." The Custodes retrieved their fallen, ascending to the waiting cruiser. The vessel turned, its engines roaring as it broke through the clouds and vanished into the stars. Thor looked to Varian, breathing hard. "Your gods abandon you." "No," Varian said. "They have finally seen me." Strange stepped closer, voice quiet. "What will you do now?" Varian's gaze drifted toward the horizon. "What I was made for. I will fight until something worth dying for remains." Above them, the last trace of the cruiser's light faded. The sky, for once, was empty. Dawn over New York carried a strange silence. Smoke still rose from what had once been the Sanctum Sanctorum. The air tasted of metal and ozone. The battle of gods and men had ended, but its echoes trembled through the bones of the planet. Brother Captain Varian stood on the rooftop of a half-collapsed tower, his armor scored with burn marks, his chainsword dull from overuse. Below him, the city stirred ordinary people emerging from the rubble. Unaware of how close they had come to annihilation, he watched them move, carrying one another, bleeding, arguing, surviving. Humanity, fragile and foolish, yet defiant. In their chaos he saw an echo of the Imperium's early days, before it had hardened into dogma and decay. The sight filled him with an ache he could not name. For the first time since he had fallen through the rift, the Space Marine felt something like envy. Behind him came the faint whir of armor servos. "You could help them," Tony said. His voice carried through the thin morning air. The golden reflection of the rising sun shimmered across his cracked faceplate. "You've got the strength, the tech. Instead, you just stand there, watching." Varian turned slightly. "Strength without wisdom breeds monsters. My presence already taints this world." "Don't flatter yourself," Tony said, trying for humor and failing. "We've seen our share of monsters." "You have seen children with guns," Varian replied. "You mistake noise for war." Tony exhaled, a metallic hiss through damaged filters. "Maybe, but at least we're fighting for something more than orders." The Marine's helm tilted. "Then tell me, what do you fight for, Iron Man?" Tony hesitated. "For a world that doesn't need me." Varian regarded him for a long moment. "Then we are alike." Their uneasy silence was broken by a surge of energy that rolled through the air like a pulse. Strange appeared beside them, his cloak moving as if stirred by invisible currents. "Something's happening," he said. "Your cruiser left more than a scar. It tore open a corridor through space itself. I'm feeling pressure from beyond our galaxy." Varian stiffened. "The Imperium?" "No," Strange said, his expression darkening. "Something older. The stars themselves are bending." Thor landed nearby in a burst of light, his armor streaked with soot. The Norn's whisper of rifts opening across the 9 realms. "Whatever war you've carried here, Captain, it spreads like plague." Varian looked upward. The sky shimmered not with fire, but with reflection. Dozens of portals rippled open, each one a mirror to another world. Through them came fleets of machines, warships shaped like blades and spheres, insignias gleaming red and silver. Strange recognized none of them, but Tony's senses screamed with recognition. That's Stark tech," he whispered. "My designs, but they're not mine." parallel realities, alternate versions of me. The Marine's grip tightened on his weapon. You have unleashed your own heresy across worlds. The first of the alternate Iron Legions fired. Beams of plasma cut through the skyline, reducing towers to molten slag. Drones swarmed like locusts, scanning and destroying without hesitation. Within minutes, the invasion began. Thor raised his hammer. Then we fight once more. Varian stepped to the edge of the rooftop, voice hardening. No, we lead. The Marine leapt into the chaos below, landing amidst the burning streets. His bolter thundered, each shell tearing through steel and flame. Tony followed, launching into the air, directing energy barriers to shield the fleeing civilians. Strange conjured glyphs that sealed collapsing portals, while Thor's lightning split the sky open in defiance. The battle stretched across the city, spreading into every horizon. The invaders were methodical, efficient, and heartless machines with his face. Tony realized, built from the same logic that had once nearly damned him. The irony stung worse than the burns on his hands. Varian fought through them like a storm. His every movement carried the weight of millennia. Bolter shells detonated with the rhythm of a choir. His chainswords sang through metal and circuitry alike. But even he could not stop what came next. From one of the portals descended a figure in armor darker than void, carrying a weapon that hummed with malignant energy. The new arrival's voice echoed from within the helm deep, precise and chillingly familiar. "I am the Iron Inquisitor," it said, "executor of the multiversal Imperium. And by decree of our Emperor, this universe is to be purged." Varian froze. "Your Emperor?" The figure lifted its blade, a weapon forged of alien metal and faith warped into science. "You failed him. We perfect his design." The air rippled with power. The Iron Inquisitor's army halted mid-flight, waiting. Varian could feel the psychic weight behind that commander mind, not unlike his own, amplified by technology that mimicked the warp. He realized with horror that these were reflections of what the Imperium might become if stripped of soul entirely. Faith reduced to algorithm. Duty turned to machine. Thor landed beside him, Mjolnir humming. "More of your kind." Varian's gaze hardened. "No, abominations of what I could have been." The Iron Inquisitor extended a gauntleted hand toward him. "Submit, brother captain. Join us and make this world pure." Varian's reply was a whisper. "Purity is the lie of cowards." And then he charged. The two titans collided at the heart of the burning city, faith and logic locked in mortal combat. Each blow shook buildings to dust. Each impact lit the horizon. Around them, the heroes of Earth rallied once more, not for glory or conquest, but survival. The War of Worlds had begun. The impact of their collision shattered sound itself. Bolter and blade, faith and machine, each strike birthed a shockwave that rolled through the burning streets like divine thunder. Brother Captain Varian and the Iron Inquisitor fought in silence at first, the world screaming around them. Every hit from the Inquisitor's blade carved through matter at a subatomic level, leaving trails of dissolving air. Varian countered with the force of belief alone, his chainsword roaring as its teeth bit. Through the false metal of the Inquisitor's armor, their clash painted the skyline in light and ruin. Thor and Strange fought at the perimeter, holding back the machine legions pouring through the rifts. Tony darted between them, marking targets, buying moments, but no one could approach the center. The energy there was too intense, too absolute. The fight was not merely physical, it was ideological, psychic, metaphysical. The Inquisitor's voice cut through the noise, hollow yet burning with certainty. You are obsolete, Varian. You are the last priest of a dead god. Varian struck, sparks exploding from his opponent's chest plate. Then I die as his sword, not his memory. You cling to myth. We have made faith measurable. Varian's laugh was bitter and cold. Then you've already lost it. The Inquisitor slammed a gauntlet into Varian's helm, forcing him backward. The blow cracked the ceramite. Warning runes flared across Varian's HUD. Your kind prays for salvation, the Inquisitor said. We calculate it. Lightning speared through the smoke, searing the ground between them. Thor landed, electricity wreathing his form. Enough of this heretic blasphemy, he shouted. The Inquisitor turned, deflecting Myonia with his blade, the collision creating a ring of white-hot plasma. Varian moved again, his broken armor creaking. He struck low, bolt of fire tearing through the Inquisitor's shoulder. The machine staggered, then retaliated with a blast of energy that hurled Varian into a collapsing skyscraper. The building crumbled as he vanished inside. Iron Man swooped down, firing missiles at the Inquisitor's chest, but the armor absorbed them effortlessly. Tony's HUD flashed red countermeasures detected. Before he could retreat, the Inquisitor raised a hand, sending a gravitational pulse that crushed the ground beneath him. Tony fell hard, systems screaming, armor cracking under invisible pressure. The Inquisitor loomed over him. Another child playing at divinity, he said. You are what happens when technology forgets humility. Tony raised one shaking arm. Yeah, he muttered, voice tight. But I learn fast. He overloaded his arc reactor. The explosion tore through the battlefield, vaporizing everything within 50 meters. The shockwave hit like a god's breath, hurling debris in every direction. When the light faded, both Iron Man and the Inquisitor were gone. Strange appeared at Thor's side, his face pale, his voice strained. They're not dead. The explosion displaced them between realities. Then bring them back, Thor demanded. I'm trying, Strange said, through clenched teeth, his hands moving in frantic sigils. But the rifts are unstable. Every attempt risks fracturing the veil further. A deep sound vibrated through the earth, the hum of a bolter. From the ruins of the collapsed tower, Varian rose again, his armor dented, his left pauldron torn away, revealing scarred flesh beneath. His eyes burned with fury. Where is he? Strange pointed upward. Gone, lost to the storm you brought here. Varian's gauntlet clenched, his blood hissing where it met exposed armor. Then I will bring him back and end him where he stands, even if it kills you. Strange asked. Varian turned his head, the faintest flicker of weariness crossing his voice. I was born to die for humanity. That is not death, it is purpose. He reached into the air, his fingers closing around the edge of an unseen wound in space. The fabric of reality tore open, energy spilling out like blood. Strange tried to stop him, but the Marine's will was absolute. You'll destroy everything, the sorcerer shouted. I destroy nothing, Varian said. I reveal what must be rebuilt. He stepped into the rift. The tears sealed behind him, leaving only silence and the echo of a prayer that none of them could fully understand. Inside the fracture, Varian found himself adrift in a void where time had no rhythm. Fragments of broken universes spun around him, ruins of worlds devoured by their own gods. And there, in the center, hovered the Iron Inquisitor, still intact, still alive, You followed me, the Inquisitor said. I lead, Varian replied. They closed the distance again. This time, there was no city, no witnesses, no sky only, the sound of their weapons colliding in eternity. Sparks scattered across the void like newborn stars. You cannot win, the Inquisitor said. Your faith is finite. Varian drove his blade through the false god's chest. Then I will spend every breath proving it was enough. The Inquisitor convulsed, light pouring from the cracks in his armor. You'll burn with me, so be it. Varian twisted the blade. The void erupted, folding in on itself. Two warriors, reflections of the same purpose, consumed in the collapse of everything they believed in. And somewhere, in the stillness that followed, a single voice whispered through the dark. Mankind endures. The rift sealed. The stars steadied. On Earth, the heroes felt the storm subside, unaware that somewhere beyond comprehension, a space marine had traded himself for peace. But the peace would not last. The silence that followed the collapse of the rift was deafening. The skies over Earth had finally cleared, revealing a strange dawn that seemed too fragile, too pure for what had just transpired. Fragments of shattered metal and cooling plasma fell like rain, scattered across the oceans and deserts. In the heart of New York, what remained of the Avengers stood among ruins that no one would ever truly rebuild. Doctor Strange hovered above the ground, his cloak still flickering with fading energy. He could feel it, the quiet absence where Varian's will had once been, a void of faith that echoed across the fabric of reality. He's gone, Strange whispered. The rift has sealed itself. There's no trace of him, no dimension left to search. Thor lowered his hammer slowly, the storm dissipating around him. You mean he died? Strange shook his head. I mean, he transcended. His body's gone, but his presence, he hesitated, searching for words that no human language possessed. It's woven into the structure of this universe now. He left something behind. High above, satellites blinked offline one by one. Data streams warped, showing brief flashes of symbols no one could translate, trons of the Adeptus Astartes, coded prayers of the Imperium. In orbit, debris from the battle drifted like constellations, forming new patterns. A golden aquila shimmering faintly in the morning light. Iron Man's armor lay smoking among the rubble. Its chest plate had split open, the arc reactor extinguished. Tony's body was still, one gauntlet clutching a twisted shard of his own tech. Strange reached him and knelt. For a terrible heartbeat, there was no sound. Then Tony coughed, the weak rasp of a man who had once defied gods. Strange smiled grimly. You're too stubborn to die. Tony's voice was rough. Tell me, it's over. For now, Strange said, but whatever he was fighting, it wasn't just about us. He believed something greater was coming. Tony managed a dry laugh that turned into a wince. Yeah, that's comforting. Universe nearly collapses, and all we get is a teaser for the sequel. Thor crouched beside them, the faintest shadow of grief in his eyes. He was a warrior unlike any I have met. Brutal, unyielding, but noble. I almost think he could have been Asgardian. Strange looked to the sky. No, he was something rarer, human across the world. The aftershocks of the war rippled through every heart. Civilians who had once fled from the Space Marine's wrath now built shrines of scrap metal and melted glass, lighting candles beneath them. None of them understood the symbols they carved, yet somehow they knew they mattered. Priests in Wakanda reported dreams of a blue-armored giant standing guard over the stars. Monks in Tibet heard whispers of hymns, sung in a language older than Earth. Something in the soul of humanity had changed, far beyond mortal sight, deep in the void between universes. The remnants of the Iron Inquisitor's armor drifted through the darkness, still glowing faintly. Inside that drifting tomb, a pulse of light flickered, a machine's dying heartbeat mixed with the echo of a man's last prayer. Two wills intertwined, faith and logic merged into something new. The collapse had not destroyed them. It had bound them. Within the storm of that silent void, a figure stirred. His armor was cracked and half-fused, ceramite and steel welded together by impossible fire. He floated amid fragments of dying stars, consciousness returning like embers, reigniting. He could no longer feel his body, nor hear the Emperor's call. But he remembered. Varian had survived. His thoughts were dim, drifting like echoes across an ocean of light. He saw flashes of the world he had left behind, Thor's thunder, Stranger's spells, Iron Man's defiance. He saw the faces of the humans he had once judged as weak, and for the first time he understood that faith could exist without empire. That courage could bloom even without doctrine. He was not ultramarine now. He was something else. A voice reached him through the silence, not the Emperor's, but something fainter, older, more human. It was a child's whisper, soft and trembling. "Thank you." The light around him shimmered. His broken armor pulsed once more, thrusters igniting with faint blue glow. He drifted toward the nearest star, the remnants of his chainsword glinting at his side. His faith, once anchored to the Imperium, now belonged to the living, to the fragile, stubborn species he had sworn to protect on Earth. The Avengers gathered on the ruins of Stark Tower. Strange raised his hand, feeling the tremor of energy ripple through the air. "He's still out there," he said quietly. Thor looked toward the sky. "Then the war is not over." "No," Strange agreed. "But when it comes again, we will not face it as children. We have seen the face of humanity's future and it wears armor." Lightning flashed across the horizon as if in answer. The clouds parted, revealing one final streak of light, ascending toward the heavens, a burning drop pod, reforged from fragments of both man and machine, vanishing into the endless dark, somewhere beyond the veil of galaxies. A voice spoke, not loud, not commanding, but eternal. For the Emperor, for mankind, for all worlds that dare to hope. The cosmos whispered back, and a new war began. The world that received him was silent, too silent to be alive. Its horizon stretched into pale infinity, dunes of silver ash beneath a sky that glowed faintly red, as if a dying sun bled into the void. When Brother Captain Varian's damaged thrusters finally failed, he fell through that lifeless air and struck the ground with a sound like the tolling of a distant bell. Dust rose, settling over the ceramite plates of his cracked armor. He did not know how long he lay there. Time had no shape in this place, no pulse of day or night. He only knew that he still breathed, that the hiss of his broken vox was the only voice left in the universe. When at last he forced himself to move, his every step left deep impressions in the ash, footprints that no wind came to erase. The remains of the Iron Inquisitor drifted somewhere far behind him, a black silhouette sinking into the horizon. The fusion of their energies had remade this planet, a scar where two realities had collided. He could feel the aftertaste of it in his blood, the hum of machine logic in his veins. the echo of alien purity stitched into his flesh. He was no longer ultramarine, nor entirely human. He was something born from the fracture of belief. He walked for hours, or perhaps centuries, across the endless waste until he found it, a field of glass, smooth and clear as frozen water. Beneath its surface shimmered stars, constellations trapped like memories. He knelt, pressing one armored hand to the surface. The warmth that pulsed through it was faint but unmistakable life, fragile and distant. The Emperor's light did not reach this world. The Astronomicon was a dead whisper here, and yet he felt another presence, not divine, not commanding, but gentle like the heartbeat of creation itself. For the first time, he realized he was not being tested. He was being invited. He removed his helm. The air burned his lungs. It smelled of salt and iron, of something ancient. He looked to the red sky and whispered, "If this is death, then let me die standing." A voice answered. It was not the Emperor's. It was not the Inquisitor's. It was not human. It spoke in a tone that resonated within the bones of the world. "You are not dead, child of terror. You are seed and flame. You were never meant to return home." Varian rose, scanning the horizon. The voice came from everywhere and nowhere, vibrating through the ground itself. "Show yourself," he said. The light on the horizon shifted. From the haze stepped a figure woven from starlight and shadow, its form half seen, changing with every heartbeat. It was tall, unarmored, but carried the weight of eternity in its gaze. "Do you know where you stand?" it asked. Varian's hand drifted to his weapon. A battlefield, waiting to happen. The being smiled not with lips, but with the bending of the air itself. Once, perhaps. Now it is what remains after every battlefield. You are on the edge of the living and the dead, between what was and what will be. You are not the first to come here, but you are the first to understand why. Varian's grip on his weapon loosened. "If you mean to destroy me, do it. I have served long enough. Destroy you." The being tilted its head, amused. "No, you carry the memory of gods and men. I would see what remains when both are gone." Varian stared at it, the reflection of its light flickering in his tired eyes. "You speak as though you know the Emperor." "I know all who have shaped creation," the being said. "Your Emperor burns too brightly to see beyond himself. But you," it paused, a shimmer of compassion crossing its luminous face. "You carry his shadow, and that makes you greater." He looked away, suddenly weary. "I did not come seeking greatness. Then why do you still live?" The question pierced deeper than any blade. Varian opened his mouth, but no answer came. At last he said, quietly, "Because I do not know how to stop." The being stepped closer, the air shimmering around it. "Then learn." It extended a hand made of light. "Every universe needs its guardian, not its conqueror. You can build, brother of men. You can begin again." Varian stared at that hand for a long time. When he finally reached out, the contact sent warmth through him, real warmth. Not fire or faith, but something profoundly alive. The scars across his armor glowed faintly, and the ache in his chest eased. "What is this place?" he asked again, softer now. "A resting place for purpose," the being said, "where all who fought for meaning come to remember why they began." Varian sank to one knee, bowing his head. "Then let me remember." The horizon brightened, and for a heartbeat, he thought he heard voices, the laughter of his brothers, the thunder of bolters, the distant echo of prayers whispered on terror. The being watched in silence, and when it spoke again, its voice was gentle. Your war is over, Varian of Alt, but your faith is not. Build something new here, and perhaps, in time, others will follow. The Marine closed his eyes. Then let this be my penance, my shrine, and on that silent foreign star, beneath the crimson sky, he began to pray not for victory, not for forgiveness, but for peace. Days passed, or what this world chose to call days. The light never shifted fully. The red horizon simply breathed from brighter to dimmer shades, like a wounded heart struggling to beat. Brother Captain Varian labored in that half-light, his armor grinding against stone and glass as he built with his hands. He gathered what the rift had left behind, molten shards of the Iron Inquisitor's armor, fragments of his own shattered pauldrons. Scorched relics of both faith and machinand shaped them into a structure unlike anything that had existed in either universe. It rose slowly, not through technology or sorcery, but through will, a shrine of silence, a monument to what war had taken and what endurance still gave back. Each piece of ceramite he placed carried memory. Each motion of his gauntlet was a confession. By the time the tower reached his height, the edges of the world itself seemed to lean toward it, as if even this dead planet longed for purpose again. When it was done, Varian stepped back and gazed upon his work. The structure shimmered faintly, neither cathedral nor fortress, but something between, a shape that promised defense yet invited peace. At its center rested his broken chainsword, buried upright like a cross. Its engine was dead, but the teeth still gleamed faintly. Catching the ghost light of the sun, he knelt before it, resting one hand upon the hilt. "Emperor of mankind," he murmured, "I have carried your name beyond the edge of existence. I have killed in it. I have believed it was enough. But here there is no Imperium, no choir, no throne. Only me and what you made of me." His words vanished into the red wind. No voice answered, no vision, no burning halo, and for the first time, the silence felt merciful. Behind him, the luminous being returned, its outlines softer now, more defined by the rhythm of its speech than by light. "You have made a place of stillness," it said. "Even in ruin, mankind builds." Varian did not look back. It is what we do. We destroy and rebuild, praying that one day the two acts are not the same. The being approached the shrine, its feet leaving no mark on the ash. "What will you do now?" "I will wait," Varian said simply. "Others will come, maybe from my galaxy, maybe from yours. They will need a place to remember what faith looked like before it became a weapon, and if they bring war again, then I will teach them peace," he said. "If they cannot learn it, I will die trying." The being's light pulsed faintly. Perhaps that is what creation has always wanted of its warriors, to teach what they never understood. Varian turned his head slightly, meeting its gaze. "And what of you? What do you want?" "To see if mankind can exist without gods." Varian's expression softened. "We cannot, but perhaps we can exist with better ones." He rose slowly, his movements heavy but steady. "Tell me," he said, "this world, is it part of your creation?" "It is the place between," the being replied. "Neither alive nor dead. You could call it possibility, then I will guard it." The being regarded him a long moment, then inclined its head. "Then I name it after you. Varian's rest. He did not react at first. Then, quietly, a graveyard. A beginning, the being said, for all who wander too far from home. It faded then, its form dissolving into dust that shimmered like stars. Varian was alone once more. He stood before the shrine until the last traces of its presence vanished. Then he turned his gaze upward. The sky no longer glowed red, but faint gold, as though a dawn that had never existed was trying to be born. Within that glow, he saw faint glimmersteiny sparks streaking across the heavens. Not comets, drop pods. He felt them before he saw them, the psychic tremor of Astartes' minds, distant but real. Some part of the Imperium had sensed him. They were coming. He looked at his shrine one last time. Then let this world bear witness, he whispered, to what faith costs and what it saves. He lifted his helm, placing it back upon his head. The vox crackled to life, though there was no channel, no command. Only the sound of static that almost resembled prayer. Brothers, he murmured into the emptiness. If you come seeking conquest, I will break you. If you come seeking peace, I will kneel beside you. Either way, you will remember, the first drop pod broke through the clouds, its descent trailing silver fire. Varian stood unmoving as it fell toward him, his shadow stretching long across the ash. He was no longer ultramarine, nor exile, nor heretic. He was simply human, an echo of a god's dream that had learned how to live without worship. The pod struck the ground a kilometer away, the shockwave rippling through the plains. He felt the tremor in his bones and smiled beneath his helm. Welcome, brothers, he said softly. Welcome to the end. The shrine behind him caught the first light of dawn and shone like a sun reborn. The ash trembled beneath his boots as more drop pods cut through the sky. Trails of light streaked across the horizon, their descent like falling stars, bleeding fire. Brother Captain Varian stood unmoving, his shadow etched long and dark against the dying light. Each pod that fell was a heartbeat closer to Judgmenta, heartbeat closer to home, or what was left of it. The first pod struck the ground nearby, cracking open with a hiss of venting steam. From within stepped 3 Astartes, their armor deep crimson, marked with the insignia of the Blood Angels. Their helms turned toward him in perfect unison, their movements fluid and reverent. For a brief moment, Varian felt an ache of recognition. Identify yourself, the lead warrior demanded, his voice resonating through the vox with the disciplined thunder of command. Varian took one step forward, the dust swirling round his armor. Brother Captain Varian of the Ultramarines, once of the 7th Company, now, nothing of that remains. The Blood Angel hesitated. Your signal carries no authorization. You are not of the Imperium's current record. I would expect nothing less, Varian replied, his tone measured, almost weary. I have walked farther than the Astronomicon can see. Tell me, does terror still burn? The Blood Angel's helm tilted, a gesture halfway between respect and suspicion. Terror stands. The Emperor endures. But there are whispers, worlds lost to madness, stars silenced by storms of faith. And we were sent to find what survived beyond the Emperor's light. Varian looked toward the shrine rising from the horizon, its silhouette a wound of light in the red sky. Then you found it. The Blood Angels turned to behold it. Even through the gloom, the monument gleamed with a sanctity that defied language. You built this, one of them asked. With what remained, Varian said. From the pieces of war. From what I could not bury. The lead warrior approached, his crimson armor reflecting the shrine's glow. "You carry the touch of corruption," he said. "Your armor bleeds it." Varian met his gaze without flinching. "It is no corruption. It is memory. I have fought what you cannot yet imagine worlds, where gods wear masks of men and call themselves heroes. I have seen faith turned into weapon and logic forged into sin. If that stains me, then so be it." For a moment, silence stretched between them. Then, unexpectedly, the Blood Angel lowered his weapon. "Perhaps your exile has taught you more than our sermons ever could." Varian's voice softened. "I learned that humanity does not need gods to be divine." The Blood Angel studied him for a long moment. "Then what does it need?" Varian looked up at the faint golden dawn spreading across the horizon. "Forgiveness. Not from the Emperor. From itself." More pods landed in the distance. From each emerged warriors of different colors, salamanders, imperial fists, even a lone grey knight whose silver armor gleamed like moonlight. They gathered slowly, surrounding the shrine, their eyes drawn to its quiet light. None spoke for a long time. Then one of them, a young salamander with the tremor of awe in his voice, asked, "What is this place?" Varian's voice carried across the stillness. "It is not a fortress. It is not a temple. It is remembrance. Here, we will not worship the Emperor as God, nor curse him as tyrant. We will remember that he was a man who wanted us to become more than war." The assembled warriors shifted uneasily. Some lowered their weapons. Others watched him as if standing before heresy itself. The Grey Knight's voice broke the silence. "You speak dangerous truths, brother." "Truth is always dangerous," Varian said. "But it is all that survives when the wars are done." The warriors exchanged glances. Some turned away, but others slowly, almost reluctantly removed their helms. One by one, faces emerged from behind lenses and seals, human faces scarred and weary but alive. For the first time in centuries, Space Marines looked upon one another not as extensions of doctrine, but as men. Varian stepped to the shrine and placed his hand upon his chainsword. "This world is no longer the Imperium's. It belongs to the memory of those who believed and died for a better one. You may kneel, or you may leave, but know this. The next chapter of mankind will not be written in blood." The Grey Knight stared at him for a long time. Then, without a word, he knelt. The Blood Angel followed. One by one, the others did the same. A wind rose across the plains, carrying the faint hum of distant stars. For the first time since his birth, Varian felt peace that did not come from victory. He removed his helm again and placed it beside the shrine. "I was forged for war," he whispered. "But here, at the end of all things, I choose faith." The horizon flared gold as the red sky broke apart, sunlight spilling through like revelation. The ash fields shimmered, alive for the first time in eons above them. The stars rearranged themselves into the shape of the imperial Aquila broken. Imperfect, but radiant. Varian closed his eyes. "The Emperor protects," he murmured, and for the first time, he believed not because he was told to, but because he wanted to. The wind carried his words across the silent world, echoing into eternity.